Folks, please rise while we post the colors. And salute. Former Congressman Michael McNulty will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Please remain standing for our opening prayer led by Brooke Levitt.
Almighty God, you who are the source of our life, strength, and purpose. In your presence alone we find health, hope, and life. Guide us during this hour of fellowship and reflection to be grounded with a healing reminder of your love to all whose lives we touch this day. For it is in your glory we gather and offer our prayers. Amen.
Please be seated. Good morning. My name's Tim Forbes. I'm the chairman of the Rensselaer County Honor Deceased Veteran Committee. We're gathered here this morning to honor a deceased Rensselaer County veteran for the month of September, and that veteran is John F. Feltz. We're honored to have with us this morning his family and some of his many friends. Cash Phil Feltz, his widow, Larisha, a stepdaughter, son-in-law EJ, cousins of Cash, AJ Barna, Steph Barna, Michael Barna, Mary Kay Cassidy, possibly Jim Cassidy, Steph McCare, Bruce Phelan, and Tara Evans. We have co-workers of Cash, Tammy Dame, Bob Mohan, and Gina Milanese. Thank you all for being here. Also with us today to honor our Veteran of the Month is Lonnie Warrington, who's representing Steve McLaughlin, the county executive. Joshua Williams is representing Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. Congressman Paul Tonko is here. Former Congressman Michael McNulty. New York State Senator Jake Ashby. New York State Assemblyman Scott Bendet, and also John T. McDonald III. Representing the county legislative chairwoman, Kelly Hoffman, is the vice chair, Robert Loveridge. The Rensselaer County District Attorney is here, Mary Pat Donnelly. Our sheriff, Kyle Bergolt, is here. The commander of the Waterville Arsenal, Colonel Schultz, is here. Also with us is legislators that I can see, Mark Fleming, Carol Weaver, and Robert Loveridge. As we are all aware, Memorial Day and Veterans Day are special days to remember our veterans. This program was created to help us honor our veterans all year round. To us here in Rensselaer County, every day is Veterans Day. The Rensselaer County Honor a Deceased Veteran Program represents veterans organizations throughout the entire county. This includes members of the American Legion, the Disabled American Veterans, the Veterans of Lansingburg, the Military Order of Purple Heart, the Marine Corps League, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Korean War Veterans, Tri-County Council of Vietnam-era Veterans, AMVETS, the Crabb Garrison Post 1954, the Rensselaer County Veterans Service Agency. And One name I missed, the legislator Dan Casale is here, sorry. And also Tom Grant. I'm gonna have to fire my marker. I will now ask Robert Loveridge, the Vice Chairman of the County Legislature, to come forward and tell us a little bit about our honored Veteran of the Month, John F. Phelps.
Thank you, Tim. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Rensselaer County Legislature for our monthly Honor Deceased Vet ceremony. We take a lot of pride in the opportunity to do this on a monthly basis, and we want to thank Congressman McNulty for putting the seeds in the ground years ago, and many of the counties around us do the similar thing to recognize our veterans, which we need to do every single day of life. And I want to welcome everyone from the family here today. Thank you very much. It's once again my honor to welcome all of you here. This is a tradition that we do every month, and we're very proud of it. Today we gather to honor the life and service of a remarkable individual, John Francis Phelps, fondly known to his many friends as Duke and Phelpsy. John was born in Albany on August 29, 1946, and spent his early years in Rensselaer, where he attended Rensselaer Public Schools and forged a lifelong friendship with neighbors and friends. These early relationships were a testament to his warm and generous nature, traits that defined him throughout his entire life. On April 29, 1965, at the age of 18, John enlisted into the United States Navy in Albany and served his country with distinction aboard the USS Kitty Hawk during the Vietnam War from 1965 to 1969. During the war, aircraft from the Kitty Hawk flew round-the-clock missions over North Vietnam. Kitty Hawk was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation for exceptionally meritorious and heroic service from December 23, 1967 through June 1, 1968, which included dangerous missions during the Tet Offensive. It was noted that John and the officers and the men of the Kitty Hawk displayed undaunted spirit, courage, professionalism, and dedication to maintaining their ship as a fighting unit under the most arduous operating conditions to enable her pilots to destroy vital military targets in North Vietnam, despite the intense opposition and extremely adverse weather conditions that existed. We can only imagine that John saw and experienced what he saw and experienced during his 4 years on the USS Kitty Hawk in the battles off of Vietnam. Seaman Phelps was honorably discharged from the Navy at the Naval Station in San Diego on April 23rd, 1969. For his honorable service, he was awarded the National Defense Service Medal, Navy Unit Commendation with a Bronze Star, Vietnam Service Medal with 6 Bronze Stars, Presidential Citation, and the Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal with 1 Bronze Star. His service is a legacy of bravery and commitment to his country. On June 26, 1999, John married Catherine Phil in Winenskill, New York. Together, they formed a blended family. John brought his 4 children, Andrea, Yolanda, John, and Jessica, while Catherine brought her daughter, Larissa. After his honorable discharge, John worked for various New York State agencies, eventually retiring from the Department of Transportation at the Rensselaer shop in 2008. John was known for his passion for motorcycles, often taking a ride around the block on the 1st of January, regardless of the weather. He was also an active member of the Ukrainian Culture Center of Watervliet, where he could often be found bartending on weekends. John's love for baseball, inherited from his father, was a significant part of his life. He enjoyed attending Tri-City Valley Cats games at the Joe Stadium here in Rensselaer County with his wife, Catherine, and together they would rate the performance of the national anthem singers. John's sporting loyalty was clear: anyone but the Yankees. John cherished the moments he spent with his neighbors, friends, and family. He was a man who valued his relationships, and his presence was felt by all who knew him. John was always ready with words of wisdom, such as, watch your sixes, choose wisely, and always straight ahead and forward because you've already passed what's in the rearview mirror. He was the first to offer help, never expecting anything in return, embodying the spirit of kindness and generosity. Known for his old soul and gentlemanly demeanor, John often said his grandmother taught him how to be a gentleman, while the Navy taught him when to be and when not to be a gentleman. His strength and will to live were admired by all, and his life was a testament to his qualities. John was affectionately called Sailor by his beloved wife, Catherine, whom he lovingly called Cash. John was a devoted family man dedicated to his cherished extended family. He was the stepfather of Larissa Tabler, E.J. of Colony, father to Andrea Brown, Yolanda Fame, John Jr. Phelps, Melissa of Florida, and Jessica Bauer David of Hawaii. He leaves behind 8 grandchildren, 1 great-grandson, and a godson, as well as his brother, Paul Phelps Albertine. John had a special bond with his brother-in-law, Michael Mishu Phil, sister-in-law, Jen, and nephews, Michael, Rachel, and Benjamin Catherine. And their 5 children, cousin Bruce Tara and son Jared, also held a special place in his heart. John's life was rich with love, friendship, and service. As we remember him today, we celebrate a man who truly embodied the qualities of gentleman, a veteran, a friend. His legacy will live on in the hearts of all who knew him. Thank you so much for joining us today and for allowing us to honor the life of John F. Phelps. Mr. Grant, would you like to say a couple of words?
Thank you, Bob. We give our thanks to the family of John Duke Phelps for being here today. It's our honor to have you in attendance in this chamber. Probably the most significant part of this chamber is the Hall of Heroes that's right over there. You see that when you come in. And John's name will be inscribed in the Hall of Heroes, or on the Hall of Heroes, on one of the plaques there. So it'll be there for as long as we are here in the legislature, maybe even longer, because that Hall of Heroes was located in the previous legislative chamber and now has traveled with us. So for as long as Rensselaer County, I think, is in existence, his name will be on that plaque for people to honor and respect, and most importantly, remember his service to our community. Thank you again for being here. We appreciate the big turnout, and God bless you all.
Thank you all. I'll now ask Lonnie Warrington, representing the county executive, Steve McLaughlin, to come forward. temporary promotion.
Good morning. It is my privilege to be here this morning representing County Executive McLaughlin, who sends his regrets to the Felts family that he was unable to attend this morning's ceremony honoring John Felts. The County Executive has provided a proclamation in honor of Seaman Felts that he requested be presented to the family, which I will now do. Thank you.
Thank you, Lonnie. I'll now ask Congressman Paul Tonko and Joshua Williams, representing Elise Stefanik, to come forward.
Well, good morning, everyone. Always a cherished opportunity and an honor to say thank you to those who have served with us in uniform so that we remain a people that are free because of those in their bravery served us through the branches of the military. And this morning, we honor an outstanding individual, a person of greatness in the name of John Francis Duke Felts. And we say thank you to his service and a tremendous history that he had written with his officers and fellow mates on the USS Kitty Hawk. So it is an honor to join with my colleagues in government. Certainly I thank Congressman McNulty for having established these tributes that continue on as a legacy. I think it's an important bit of business that we do. But most importantly, it's an honor to be with you, Kosh, and your family members and friends who come here with heartfelt memories of your loved one, of Duke. The service that he provided through the U.S. Navy at a very tender age with a very difficult assignment. And by the way, to all of his comrades here from the Vietnam War era, welcome home. We've never said that well enough. Made some harsh history by not respecting the work they did. So we again echo welcome home. But for that whole fleet to be recognized as a powerful group, given a terrific assignment, they were honored for their undaunted spirit, their courage, their professionalism, their undeniable patriotism. And so he helped establish that record. And again, in an assignment that was critical to making certain that we won the war in Vietnam. The efforts that he made obviously prepared him to come back home and serve his community well, his state well, through employment with New York State, and to be involved in the community and to raise a cherished family. So in honor of his tremendous patriotism and his service through the Navy, I had asked, along with Congresswoman Stefanik, that a flag be flown over our nation's capital to pay tribute to him, to honor his spirit, and to reflect his greatness to America. And we will present you with that flag that was flown over the Capitol, and also with a certificate indicating the date by which that was done. But my hope, my prayer is that he rests in peace, embraced in the arms of his Creator, and forever be well known for his love of America and undeniable service that speaks to all of us as a spirit of challenge to follow in that same order of commitment to this country and all for which she stands. So because of him, we can enjoy our freedoms and opportunities and continue to move on as a strong nation. Did you want to say something?
Thank you, gentlemen. I will now ask New York State Senator Jake Ashby to come forward.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be with you. Great to see my colleagues in federal, state, local government, Congressman McNulty, for starting this program in multiple counties and continuing to be here with us. Colonel Schultz from the Waterville Arsenal, thank you for being here, and so many other veterans who continue to provide support for our veteran community throughout the Capital District. And most importantly, thank you to the family for being here and letting us honor him. And in reading John's bio and his time in the Navy during the Vietnam War, myself being an Army guy, we would tend to speculate about what it would be like living on a ship, wondering how different it would be for us. And then reading about his experience during Vietnam and what he endured, vehicles swerving off deck, the Tet Offensive, a fire for 51 hours. It's hard to imagine. It's truly hard to imagine that. At a time when most people were being denigrated for their service, he chose to sign up. He chose to sign up. He chose to come back and continue to contribute, continue to give back when many were suffering because of the service that they gave. And not only did our Vietnam veterans and John do this, they continued to give back for veterans like myself and future generations. And that leaves an indelible, unforgettable mark in us, in me. And it's a debt of gratitude that I can never repay, but that I remember in the service going forward in my life and in future generations. It's because of veterans like John that that's able to happen. And it speaks to the strength of our country. And I think it's important to remember that with 9/11 coming up, the type of courage, the type of dedication that it takes to maintain this country is because of men like John. It's because of families like yours that continue to give, that continue to provide an example of what it's like to be an American family, generation after generation. And I'm grateful to be a part of that. On behalf of the New York State Senate, I do have a proclamation here for your family. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. I'll now ask New York State Assemblyman Scott Bendet and John T. McDonald III to come forward.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks. Good to see my colleagues elected to office, but also members of the community and, of course, John's family. Thank you. You know, we mention often, Michael, thank you for originating this program here in the Capital Region, but it also should be noted, by far, the individual who's got the best attendance. We see him in Albany and Rensselaer County on a regular basis, and that's a very strong commitment. So it's one thing to start a program, it's another thing to continue to follow it through. But to the family, thank you. The idea behind this program is to really honor those individuals who've served our country and served it so admirably. And listening and reading through what you provided, let's face it, those 4 years were long, dangerous years. No doubt about it. And Congressman hinted at it, Jake mentioned it. The return to home was just as worse, if not better. And it's true. It's an apology we owe every single day. But same token, with all that you've mentioned about him and his state service, that two sentences in this that really caught my attention, which really I think defines his character and the person he is John was always ready to help others without asking questions or expecting anything in return. What a role model. What a great example. And to the family, as much as I know there's some sorrow still in the hearts, thank you today for bringing John forward for a just recognition. Oh, my God. Thank you. And now on to my buddy and friend, Scott Bendet.
I'm not going to say too much, but I'm going to remind John, he says this a lot, and he didn't say it today, but an ordinary young man from Rensselaer went to Vietnam and did extraordinary things. And that really is a true validation of his life and where he's come from. And then I also just want to share, we've all mentioned Congressman McNulty so many times up here, but Congressman McNulty has a line, and he says, "Every day that I wake up, I thank God for my life, and I thank a veteran for my way of life." And I think that's an important thing also to kind of remember. And I don't say it as passionately as the congressman says it, but I do think that's also an important thing. So again, thank you for letting us honor Duke today.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'll now ask Colonel Schultz, the commander of the Watervliet Arsenal, to come forward.
Good morning. It's an honor and a privilege to represent the men and women of Watervliet Arsenal with you here today. I'd like to thank all the distinguished political leadership that's come before, but mostly you for allowing me to be here as well. You know, when we look through the service, and a lot has been mentioned of it in the Kitty Hawk with Rolling Thunder, I think an interesting aspect of all of this is I worked for someone in the Navy for a couple of years there, and they had this concept, a lot of sailors, and it's always be a good shipmate. And looking through everything, what I could absolutely tell was that Mr. Phelps was an excellent shipmate. So, and that's important. When we remember all the service, something that someone like me, what I like to remember is we stand on the shoulders of giants, right? And it does take an entire crew. It's not just, you know, the folks up in the, you know, the command deck or whatever making it happen. It's all the sailors and, you know, for my service, the soldiers that do that. And so, you know, when we look at these lives of service, it reminds us all that, you know, we all start off as citizens. And, you know, in the Army, we call it the citizen soldier. The Navy refers to it as a citizen sailor. And then it's always so good to hear about folks that are able to come home and give back to the community, live good lives with their families, and serve those around them. And so in that spirit of service, you know, is something that is humbling to me and, you know, that I take dearly. So again, thank you. It's a privilege to be here. We have a very small and inadequate token of our appreciation and recognition of Mr. Phelps' service. So thank you again.
Thank you, Colonel. I'll now ask Joe Simonak from the Rensselaer County Honor Deceased Veteran Committee to present the committee plaque at this time. Will the committee members please stand? Please stand for our closing prayer.
Day is done, gone the sun, from the lake, the hill, and the sky. All is well. God of compassion, dignity, and strength, watch over this veteran and his family. Bless him and grant his family comfort and everlasting peace. Amen.
Retire the colors. And salute.
Thanks.
2. This concludes our Honor of Vet ceremony for this month. Thank you for coming to honor our deceased veteran for the month of September, John F. Phelps. Please join us for our next Honor of Veteran ceremony scheduled for Tuesday, October 15th, in honor of Michael A. DeBonis. Before we go our separate ways, we'll take a few family pictures right here. Then we'll reassemble shortly at our county flagpole to raise the flag in John's memory. Thank you all.